table. I just want to know what benefit would I get for being a stepfather? Would a man be wrong for asking a woman that?
I think it's a loaded question because why are you asking me that? I feel like as a man, you should know what your, if you're coming into a relationship where there's children involved, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask in terms of what's the benefit that I get for being a stepfather to your children. Like that doesn't even sound right to me
No?
because I'm
Okay.
gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you know that I have children, you should already start programming your mind to think, okay, I'm gonna be around. I'm going to be around her children.
Okay.
My question is, why should I want you around? What benefits do we get from having you around? So that's what I would need to know. Like, what are my children going to see in you? What are my children going to learn from you?
Okay.
Those are the questions. So if you're saying what benefit do you have from being a stepfather to my children, I'm gonna ask you why are you even asking that question?
Okay.
So, fellas, you heard the video. So the question is, I kind of typed out something different, but let's pivot from that question a little bit. Is it fair to ask a woman with kids, what's the benefit of me being a stepfather to your kids? And was it fair for her to ask the counter question that she had about how her kids can learn from you? We'll start with you, RJ. You're on mute. Oh,
First of all, why you have she's misread flag. First of all, that right there is brother run, seek shelter, emotional shelter, get a restraining order, just get it all done because that's what she is. First of all, when you come into a relationship with a woman that does have kids, first of all, stepfathers are crucial. Stepfathers are crucial, and they deserve as much respect as the real father because they're taking on a role where they really don't have an equal standing. Because the woman can easily say, "Well, you're not his daddy," but she still wants a paycheck. But the thing about it is that, yeah, that woman right there, oh Lord, it's the reason why these women are single because they constantly expect they're not dating you. They're giving you a panel interview with one person because when you come in. When you come into this relationship and what do you got and what do you this, that, and other, what do we have? Because first of all, and I think we lose this as married men, and I was previously married for 20 plus years. We lose the fact that we started off as just the two of us. Then children come in, and then we end up just being their parents. So when that dynamic is broken, and then now there's the possibility of somebody stepping in, and I almost experienced that. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but you have to be in the mindset of going like, okay, if this person is willing to step in and be respectful of the space, then that's great. Do it for the children. Do it for the children and make it work. But these women that have little stub, squid, and all the other, she got 4 kids, 5 different daddies. Yeah, I said it. 4 kids, 5 different daddies. You're in it for a world of hurt. But this, oh my God, bro, man, if you are, I'm gonna say this to y'all listen to it. If you are single and you are hearing my words, run. It's not worth it. It looks, she can be fine. I mean, she can be Halle Berry fine. Run. I mean, because Halle Berry can turn into hella scary really quickly. Run. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to mute myself.
so before I pass the mic, I just want to say I'm familiar with an individual, makes quite a good living, works for Disney, great salary, was dating a woman with 3 children. He told her they were engaged in conversations, and he told her, "Look, I will take your kids. They can have my last name. They can come under my authority, but I need you to take your children's father off of child support. We don't need his money. Y'all good. I got you." She walked away. She wanted to keep the child support, and she walked away from her engagement. Um, I'm just throwing that out there to give you a little bit of a different mindset. AK, I'm gonna give you the mic next. Is being a stepfather a good deal in 2025? And were those questions from the male side fair to ask?
That's fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question: is anybody a stepfather? I don't think anybody's a stepfather here.
No.
I'm trying to be. They all got kids nowadays, and I got a kid too. You know, I'm at the end of the day, we're looking for the same thing because, you know, technically, I'm not dealing with no woman that's not a good mother either. You know, like I got a son, and to be honest, for as much as me and his mom aren't together, and I don't get nothing from her, you still got to match her energy as far as my counterpart in the house. So I don't think that, to be honest with you, that woman, her red flag was her energy. And I don't even think that a lot of people are mature enough or really are supposed to be in that situation. Like, I think that it takes a certain type of person to really make a situation like that work. But the conversation is real. It just shouldn't have been like how
Let me
they
ask you this to put a wrench in the conversation a little bit. I'm gonna switch the
like
question up a little
wrenches.
bit. Would you give more grace to a woman who had 3 kids from one guy versus 3 from 3 different guys, or are you approaching it the same?
All right, really bear with me, right? Bear with me. Stop laughing, AK. Stop laughing at me. So I believe truly that we're all a summation of our choices. Some of us made some bad choices, some of us made more bad choices than others. And usually, when you put yourself into certain spaces, you're not going to run into people that made certain choices. So for me, I don't really know. I think it really depends on the woman, it really depends on the situation, and it depends on how she can make me feel about our future. You know, like I because, you know, like at the end of the day, everybody has kids nowadays. You know, if you want somebody without kids, they got to be like 20 or something like that. Like, it's really hard to find somebody that doesn't have kids. But then look at me, like, what am I doing looking for somebody that doesn't have kids? I got a kid. So, you know, like, it's tough. I don't really think that there's any real easy answer to it. It just takes, I just think that the more mature people there are in the situation, the better the situation will be. Like, there'll be you, your significant other, her, and possibly her significant other. So if you can get all 4 people actually being mature and just kind of doing better for themselves and doing better for the kids, then it'll be a good situation. But, you
Uh,
know, anybody can be a monkey wrench. And my bad for
Man,
stealing your turn, though.
no, it was
But
AK's turn.
yeah,
No, you're good. I mean,
Just real quick, it's like getting all 4 people. No, the answer is hell no, because it's not going to work. Because somebody's going to be pissed off. Like I've been through that. I've been a stepdaddy way too many dumbass times because I thought being a stepdad would be okay because I had kids young. So I thought it'd be okay when I was in my 20s. Nope, it's never okay. That's
yeah,
the answer.
that's basically that's where I'm at, man. Like
It's not a good benefit.
I understand the situations where, like, you know, it when when that's like the pond you're in, like especially if you're dating and that's the pool it is. I understand that, but like more so if you don't have children and you go in as a stepfather, I think you are being like you're definitely getting robbed of fatherhood, like because no way a woman's going to trust you like as much because you don't have a kid, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and then it's their child and their rules, like so like if you're going to go into stepfatherhood, like if you have a child it definitely makes more sense, but still at the end of the day, like there's a dynamic there that, like, you know, like you go into every relationship thinking everything's gonna go well and things are gonna work out, but you know once the thing severs and it happens, that whole dynamic is something that you can't control. And like sometimes, depending on the woman, like they will do whatever it takes to make shit tough for you. and that can be destroying your relationship with that you built with this kid who's not yours.
Yeah.
And going into it and knowing that that is at risk, like as you're talking, I mean, you're not like, you got to be actually like fucking crazy to be thinking about that every time you're talking about, but like, it's something that you do have to consciously think about. So, it's not a great deal, but situationally it can be, like, say like things happen a different way. I mean, sometimes it's like this, like the guy was a piece of shit. She wants nothing to do with him, but she wants you to be there for this kid, and you're in their life and you built this relationship, and it can work out. And that's why like, people aren't afraid of doing it. But more often than not, it will always be that situation where it's not your child, dude.
Yeah, I'll say this
Yeah.
much too is because MC brought up a good point that those are things that I've never considered, or just when I've dated women that had kids, and most of the time they've had boys. So I think only one person that I dated had a girl, but the majority of them had boys, and so they're a single mom, and generally the father wasn't involved, and so I come in there and I'm trying to help raise her son. They will resent you. Like raising a son is or helping her raise her son, it's the worst. They're not going to
Boys
listen to
test
you.
too, TR. Boys naturally test limits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Boys going to shit test you. She's going to shit test you. The girl that I was just recently dating, her son was actually pretty cool. Like we got along very well. We had similar interests. He played video games, and I played video games with him as well too. He was cool as shit. The mom got jealous of our relationship. We were having. I was like, "What are you mad about? What are you really mad about?" And she's like, "I just don't like him. Having more of a friendliness with you because he doesn't talk to me that way, or he doesn't work with me, or he doesn't like have fun with me, like playing sports and football, like because you're a girl, you're his mom, he's not going to do any of those things with you."
You're not a man.
Yeah, exactly,
Exactly.
exactly, yes. And like I said, their father's not around, and so again, I don't know how it is that I've dated mainly women that only had boys, but I've noticed that pattern. And my thing is, if I could do it all over again, I would have like not dated them, because it just creates more problems. It creates more headache though, because you're coming in trying to help and bring balance and like get rid of the chaos. They just go back to the chaos. They just want to do things that they want to do it their way. And if you come in there with common sense, they're going to be like, no, they're going to buck. Like the kid's going to buck, and then she's going to buck. Like it's almost impossible to be the winner in that situation, especially nowadays, because if you try to say you're a stepdad, I mean, everybody laughs at you. Like it's no longer a badge of honor like it used to be, because in the old days, if a woman lost her husband, she's gonna have to like just turn things around, be the best wife ever, try to find that man. But nowadays they don't even think about doing any of that stuff. They're just like, hey, what can you do for it? What can you bring to our family? That's just asinine.
And then we're gonna let you bring this one home.
Oh man, it's a funny topic. In my younger days, I absolutely would not date a single mom, because when it comes to the discipline side, she ain't never gonna let you discipline her kid like you would discipline your kid. I don't have time for that. Or for me, it was always the worry of I met a few women that seemed like they were willing to put me being in their life ahead of parenting their child, and I can't respect that. So go on somewhere, kick rocks, lady. But as I'm divorced from my first wife. I've got 5 kids. I got 4 baby mamas. And before I had kids, I used to like, man, how you do that? I'm judging people. But, you know, as I got older and life happened, I was like, okay, I see how you could get in this situation without being the worst person. But I've had to deal with the stepdad thing with my kids. And I make it easy on you as a stepdad because I didn't have children with no good women. So we've always been able to co-parent. We can do a single birthday party for all the kids. They can show up with their man. I can show up with my woman. My kids have always seen unity between their parents, even though we're not together. We're not playing games. And I'm gonna do this over here and you that over there. We can celebrate holidays and get along good. So when the stepdad comes in, I have given all the men that have come and gone in my ex's life the same speech when I first meet them. I don't care about your relationship with my ex. I'm not that type of dude. I'm not jealous. I'm not in her business. But two things I need you to understand. Don't put your hands on my baby mama. Don't put your hands on my kids.
Yeah,
Long
see,
as those,
that's the shit right
that's
there.
good. Yeah, long as that's good, we ain't
The
got no
father.
problems. And I never had an issue saying that because I had to let the guy know, look, I'm not trying to be the tough guy or start nothing. I'm just being honest so you and I can start on a level playing field and know what the expectations are. You know, I'm happy for you and her. I understand things happen in relationships. Y'all gonna argue, y'all gonna fight, but just
And
don't
man,
put
I
your
got a
hands.
question for you based on that last statement you made, though. So let's say you had that conversation with him, and his response is, "Don't tell me what to do in my house. This is my house." How would you respond to
Yeah,
that?
I'm the captain now.
You know what? I had something like that once, and again, I have a good relationship with my baby mama. So my response was to sit on the couch and put my feet on the coffee table and ask my baby mama to go get me something to drink while he's sitting there looking confused. After the fact, she told me he didn't like that, and I told her I don't care because he could be here today, gone tomorrow. I'm gonna be around forever. And the fact that he wanted to quietly complain to her but smile in my face let me know everything I needed to know about him.
Oh yeah, that's
You know?
100%.
Yeah. So we don't have to, it don't have to get ugly, but it can. And that's all it is for me. So I've dealt with some decent stepdads in my kids' lives. My ex-wife, she had a man, they was together for 10 years before they eventually split. And the two kids I have with her, they grew up with him and me. And over time, they were willing to refer to him as stepdad because he kind of earned that by being a decent man and being a good influence in their life. And it's like my current wife, my 16-year-old calls her stepmom. She's known him almost his entire life, you know, and so they have that bond and they have that rapport because she's always respected the actual mother and kind of stayed in her lane, so to speak, but been a positive influence in the kid's life. It's a hard balance. Being a stepdad or a step parent in general is all dependent upon the mother and, you know, the dad that's no longer in the picture. You know, if you can all be adults and be mature, it's a beautiful thing. You know, I got a lot of friends and coworkers that are like, dude, say what? You don't have to pay child support. You don't have to this. I was like, well, I didn't have accidental babies. All of my kids are from long-term relationships, you know, with women that work. Ain't no food stamps, ain't no EBT, ain't no government assistance. You know, we're all decent people. The relationship just didn't work. So it makes it easy for stepdad or stepmom to come into the picture and just be part of a functioning unit. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm the driving force behind that. You know, look, this is what it is. This is
DR,
how
pick
it's
that
going to
back up.
be.
And then I think somebody just
Let's
asked,
go.
one of the listeners just asked a question of you.
I think it might
Did
have been
the-
Cope for Cope though.
Oh, that
actually.
might have been for Cole. Okay, we'll say this is for you or Cole. Did the stepfather grow up watching his parents date other people? No judgment, I don't think. But are you following preset protocol, or is this totally new, familiar ground to tread?
Nah, for me, this is completely new. Both of my parents were together. So I think that, and my parents are still together today. So it's not even so much a thing of like wanting to do it. You know, it wasn't my decision. It was something that I was young enough to roll with, like whatever. But it wasn't my decision to raise a child as a single father. You know, and so it's not my desire to raise him as a single father. And so I also understand that, I'm in the same position as a lot of these single moms, and I'm actually in a decent position because I don't feel like my son's mom would ever interfere in any relationship that I have. Like, I don't feel like she wants me or wants to like take me from anybody or anything. Like, we're cool where we are. So yeah, no, it's definitely not something I've never seen my parents date. Like my parents were together as far as I've known consciousness of them being, like they've been together. So this is which is crazy to me. All of my brothers, none of us are with our kids' mothers, and you know, I don't know how that happened like that. Never did.
Appreciate that. We're going to transition to the next topic.